Now, back to the story at hand. I said, holy shit, I was vomiting and a lot. And here's the story about that. About 2 years ago, my daughter was at school and we got a call saying, hey, your daughter's had some tummy trouble and she's thrown up and we need to get her picked up and get back home. So middle of the day, just so happens to be, I run out to grab her, and on the way I'm making a doctor's appointment, and we go see the doctor. And as we're there, the doctor's checking her out and saying, yep, you definitely have the flu and this and that, and here's what we need to do in medicine. And as the doctor is going through, it's like a scene in one of those movies where like the person kind of tunes out and everything just sort of becomes distorted and it's blurred. That's what was happening to me. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? Like, my daughter's the one who's sick. So I kind of shake it off. We leave the doctor's room. We go out in the waiting room. We're waiting for a prescription or I don't know, something like that. And as we're sitting there waiting, I said to my daughter, you got to come to the bathroom with me. And I went in there. I ran in. I leaned over the sink, not the toilet for whatever reason, but the sink, because I thought I was going to vomit. And I did not. I held it off. I played aggressive defense on it, like Duke basketball in the 90s where they're slapping the floor defense, like that kind of aggressive defense. Did not throw up. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but we both need to go home and just whatever. So we went home waiting on the prescription to be fulfilled. And we're sitting at home and my daughter and I are laying in my bed and she starts vomiting again. I'm like, oh my goodness. So we had a bowl, set up for her or whatever. So we took care of her. Everything's good to go. I'm sitting there, and about 10 minutes later, I had a bowl next to me because, like I said, I wasn't apparently feeling well either. And I just sit up in bed and just start vomiting profusely into this popcorn bucket, which is reserved for me. If anybody knows me, I love popcorn. It's reserved for popcorn. So now I'm looking at this thing that I am just destroying with my jet puking and just vomiting profusely. And my daughter's sitting right next to me on the bed, and she was kind of freaked out, I think. But my wife comes running in to check, and as she comes in, I shouldn't say running, she comes walking in very calmly, and she starts laughing, and I'm sitting there throwing up, in the middle of throwing up. I'm thinking, what are you doing laughing at me? Like, I'm just vomiting. And then my daughter starts singing, Daddy's a ding dong, Daddy's a ding dong. And I don't know where that came from. So they're both laughing. I'm puking. And long story short, my wife was just about ready to leave for a work trip for like 3 days. So my daughter's sick. I'm sick. My wife is gone because why not? So we spend the next 3 days, my daughter and I, laying in bed, taking turns puking, eating popsicles and pretzels and drinking water and Gatorade and watching, I think, like 150 episodes of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So that was quite the 3-day mini vacation that I didn't ask for. But I asked my wife, why, when you walked in, were you smiling and kind of laughing? And then when our daughter started singing and making fun of me because as I was throwing up, why were you laughing and singing with her? And she said, because your daughter was watching. And it was very important that my response was measured enough to not freak out our daughter so that she wouldn't have an overreaction to maybe my wife's overreaction. And now we've turned in when you're getting sick, not that it's not serious, but now we've made it maybe a bigger thing. So that was not what I wanted to hear at the time, but looking back, my wife was correct, as she often is. And I thought that was an interesting story.